I just want to start here. The Phoenix Suns yesterday are now basically in the business of going after one Jimmy Butler. And there's this idea that, potentially we're not exactly sure what that could look like for the Phoenix Suns and where that could take them. But as you guys can tell, as graphics on the screen are not exactly making it easy on me this morning, I just want to start here. This idea that it's going to be perfect for the Suns, that no matter what you do, it's just going to work out, isn't fair either. But what I won't stand for the Phoenix Suns is people coming out here and saying, well, they made a mistake. They need to just realize what they've done and understand that it's not working anymore. I saw this last night from one Kellen Olson, who I think does a really good job covering this team. He was taking some unfair criticism last night. I think it is crazy that when people have opinions that other people tend to go after them personally or for something as nonsense as sports takes. But I do disagree with Kellen. Basically, part of what he was talking about last night was the Phoenix Suns can't admit they were wrong and just go back and restart and figure it all out. And it was what frustrated me yesterday. When people, whether it's in the chat, even though I love all those people, every single one of you coming in here every day and watching the Ben Garcia show with me or watching it on playback later on in the day, or whether it's people on Twitter saying the things such as, well, just blow it up. Now that you got 3 first-round picks, it's time to just blow it up. Guys, it is not the answer. Just because it makes you feel better, that you want this team to blow it up, doesn't make it better. Just because you sound the trumpets of, this is not working, we have to change up what we're doing, it's nonsense. Truly, it is nonsense. Just blowing it up just to blow it up isn't going to do anything in particular to help this team. Not to mention, if you blow it up, you're not just losing Kevin Durant, you're likely losing Devin Booker too. And it's why I know there's a lot of new Suns fans from 2021 that are spoiled from the riches of going to the finals, which is okay. I don't fault fans, especially for jumping on when a team is doing well. That's when fans become fans. But what I don't understand is, or what I don't get is, those fans that don't understand how bad it was for the decade before that. Before the Suns went to the finals and went to the second round and up until last year losing in the first round, going backwards, a lot of people were spoiled. They didn't know that this team could ever be bad. But I can assure you, what the Suns are going through now is so much better than the decade that they were going through before. It was abysmal. It was, you didn't get to cherish any seasons. You had to deal with 82 games going by. So this idea that the Suns just need to pack it up, realize they were wrong, and blow it up, I don't get it. And I think guys like Kellen do a good job on this team. I have no issues against Kellen. And not only that, I'm not going to go after someone for having an opinion, at least personally. Sports-wise, I think it's nonsense. The Suns got a bunch of first-round picks yesterday from teams that it's going to be the worst of those picks, meaning that they're all going to be probably 25 and back in the first round. Like, it'll be the 25th pick or the 30th pick in those drafts. It's not going to be a good pick. For the Suns fans that are having those picks just make you feel better, can we just be fair? The NBA draft is a crapshoot. I mean, look at Rob Dillingham with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's not even playing for the Timberwolves right now. They traded up for him. Reed Shepard, Houston Rockets. I thought he was going to be a good player. He's in the G League right now, or at least was sent to the G League about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And you want to have a pick at the end of the first because it makes you feel better? Not to mention, the NBA draft is such a crapshoot. Ryan Dunn was picked with the 26th pick or something, 28th pick in the NBA draft. If the draft was redone today, he's probably the 5th overall pick, meaning no one knows what they're doing. Having draft picks makes you feel better, but it doesn't actually do anything at the end of the day. And I am not ready to give up on this Suns team. They have far too much talent on this team for me to just give up on them. I don't think the issue with the Phoenix Suns is a talent issue for the Suns. I think it's all mental. And as much as Kevin Durant fans go after me, I think the mentality of this team did change when Kevin Durant showed up. Kevin Durant is a top 10 player of all time. But you are who you hang out with. Kevin Durant is a little lackadaisical. He's an elite playmaker. He's an elite basketball player, top 10 player of all time. But I think there was a mental shift from this team. Not that it's all his fault at all. This is on Booker. This is on the front office. But I'm just saying when that happened, it kind of turned a little bit. I don't think the issue with this team is talent. There's Tyus Jones, who's one of the not great players on this team. And he's a good player. Booker, Durant, Butler. I'm not even going to say Beal because he's getting moved. I'm not going to have the conversation of if the Suns trade for Jimmy Butler. Yesterday was a clear indication they are trading for Jimmy Butler. And so when you have a team that is constructed of Jimmy Butler and Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Tyus Jones and Nick Richards and guys off the bench like Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen, yes, I do think that team can compete for a championship. Now, not right away. I got to see what they do. But so much about sports is mental. It's not exactly all about physical. This team has enough talent to be a championship contender. I will not waver off that. What this team needs is an alpha to help change their mentality. Just like how I feel like Kevin Durant made everything a little bit more laxed when he showed up because he's so amazing, because he's a top 10 player of all time. Everyone was just like, oh, well, we have Kevin Durant. We're just going to be awesome. 2-time Finals MVP Kevin Durant. When you bring Jimmy Butler into the fold, everything becomes a little bit tighter. A little bit tighter, meaning people straighten up a little bit more. Jimmy Butler once went after the Philadelphia 76ers or the Minnesota Timberwolves, whatever it was, and beat the starters with the bench players. He is an intense player. Now, he has a shelf life. It's not all perfect with Jimmy. Kind of just like Chris Paul. Chris Paul had a shelf life. He runs his course with teams. Jimmy does the same thing. But Jimmy Butler changes the mentality of this team. I couldn't really care about how more or less points he makes or what he looks like statistically. I still think he's going to be a good player. But it's not just about this team physically and what they are. I think the talent is there. Jimmy Butler changes the mentality of this Phoenix Suns team. And I don't think that is a hot take. This team needs an alpha. They need a leader. I love Devin Booker. I have 3 of his jerseys. I think 4 of his jerseys. I think he's a little bit laxed and not lazy, or a little bit of aloof, maybe. Maybe that's too strong as well. Kevin Durant, a little bit laxed, a little bit, relaxed. Jimmy Butler is intense. He turns the temperature up in the room just a couple of inches, or just a couple of temperature degrees. That's what Jimmy does. The room goes from a cool 74 to a toasty 81. He raises the temperature in the room. Kind of like LeBron James, he demands greatness right away. And he doesn't care if you're Durant, and he doesn't care if you're Devin Booker. And that's what this team needs. The Suns genuinely need someone to change the mentality of this team. Just like how King Nacho is saying in the chat, this is beautifully said. Chris Paul, and I wish I could put this up on the screen, but I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even know how to do that, and I'm not even going to focus on it. But Chris Paul was a leader for the Suns. Just like how Chris Paul was the leader this Suns team needed in 2021 to help tighten things up, to raise the temperature of the room, Jimmy Butler is also that guy who can raise the temperature of the room, raise the intensity of this team. The talent is there. It is not about talent with this team. And I think once you remove Beal and bring in Butler, it's not about fit, because then you're also bigger. Butler's 6'7", 6'8", Beal's 6'3". Defensively, they become better. The Dallas Mavericks last year made a couple of deals, completely changed their team for the whole season. So, that's what the Suns need to do. Go get Butler. I couldn't care less about starting over. I am not a new Suns fan. No shade to anyone that is. I didn't show up in 2021. I watched the 7 Seconds or Less Suns. I watched Joe Johnson. I nearly cried as a kid when they traded Shawn Marion for Shaq. I remember what it was like when it was airplane mode, Derrick Jones Jr. and Devin Booker out there and Dragon Bender. I don't want to go back there.